Hi guys, I got something great for you. I got some Guinness stew. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure we got some really good beef. Alright, so I got this really big chuck roast, nice and thick, and I needed about 3.5 pounds, so I can't remember. I think this was 4.5 pounds before I trimmed it, and I want to keep it really kind of lean, because I don't want to. At first, you don't want any like gristly stuff in there. So I'll do this. Start this off the way my mom would have done, where I want to make sure the oil's hot, drop just a hair, and we need to flour. Start with about a quarter of this. And there's no way around getting the white glove from the flour. Even if you do the dry hand, wet hand thing, it don't matter. Alright, so I'm just going to toss this a little bit. Hey, Michael Jackson. Alright, so I just want to start dumping this in here. And there's canola oil in here. Trying to make sure I don't get a lot of flour from my hand in there. But obviously by the time we're all said and done, it'll be a hot mess, but it'll work. Now this big old pot of mine, remember, everything's going to stick at first until it starts to cook, and then it's going to release. So I want to get a good solid layer on the bottom. And this is probably going to be, once I get this cooked, and hopefully I can just move it aside and start the other one. If not, I'm going to have to take it out, but I'm not going to bore you with all that filming, because this is a lot of meat. So just don't rush it, don't have the heat up too high. I think I spent more time trimming this than any other part of, because I really was carefully going through it all. And if you don't care, because I mean it cooks for a long time, so it can be a little forgiving, and especially if you're not really great with the knife skills. Lots of times meat markets will take like the leftovers and they'll cube it into stew meat. That's fine, just buy that. I just want to see what I'm doing, what I'm getting, so I drive them all crazy, trust me. Get this first round off my hand. And I'm not going to lie, I had to get up extra early to do this. In fact, I'm making something else right over here. So how ironic. Like I said, watch pot never boils. Same thing goes for this. So we really just want to leave it alone, because we want to get a good kind of crust from the flour on one side. I smell Guinness. I opened up the can. Oh. And you just start to see everything's browning really well. I put the camera over and I get all the oil on the camera, and that doesn't work. And as you can hear, it's not crazy. It's just just doing its thing. And if you're smart, unlike me, you start on one side and move it to the other. I was kind of like trying that, and then I had to fill some holes because there's a lot of meat in there. There's a lot of meat. This is going to be a really good stew, and you're going to be really happy with this recipe. Got it. Like I said, you just have to cook it enough for it to release. And it did. It's beautiful. A friend of mine was doing a video, and he was showing some welding techniques, and he had his GoPro mounted too close. Ruined the lens. Alright. So I'm going to move on to the second batch. Get this all done up, and I'll be back to see you. Oh, it's going to take me probably 5 minutes. See you then. Hey, so there was so much meat in here, I ended up dishing some out to do it in batches. So it did end up taking me almost a half an hour, it seems like. I think that's about right. Okay, so now what are we going to do with it? Well, all the pieces are nice and brown. I got a bunch of onion that I chopped up. There are literally 2 medium onions in here. And we're just going to get those stirred in. I want to see those get down to the bottom and start getting cooked. So, you know, all those kind of onion and garlic stuff, they're going to release all the brown stuff on the bottom of the pan. We're going to make sure we've got, this is going to be so wicked awesome, okay? Just throwing it out there. I'm not too worried about scraping the bottom, but I'm going to start. Oh, yeah. All right. So we're just going to let that cook for a minute, just to kind of break it down. I hope you're as excited as I am, okay? This is just like so cool. Alright, so what's the next thing we gotta do? I want some seasoning in here, so I want some pepper. Just while that onion's cooking. Hands getting tired. Now, really, the flavor I'm going to put in here is thyme. And I normally use fresh thyme, but this is like going to cook like for a long, long time. So I really don't think this is necessary. But I'm going to put a good shot, a good tablespoon, rounded tablespoon of thyme in here. Because I think it tastes best like that. Now the onion is just beginning to cook. So now, I got just a little bit of garlic, not much. Doesn't have to be cut fancy because it's going to cook so long, it's probably going to disappear on us. Let me tell you, it's already starting to be like delish. All right, so without further ado, I've got a nice can of Guinness here. I really like this draft stout thing they do. I think it tastes really good. Now we're going to get everything back to some kind of temperature. This is where the gravy is going to start to come together. All the crusty, good stuff on the bottom is, oh my Lord. It should be illegal. And it's funny, so most of the stuff is coming off the bottom. I'm just checking around. This is kind of the state at which I wanted to get it mixed in. So I cut the meat up yesterday. In hindsight, I probably would have been okay if I would have just cooked it last night, but I mean, it wouldn't be the same. I don't know, I have to think about it. I guess you have to do it this way and just suffer through it. I need a strong arm to mix this all together. Oh, yeah. Alright, so I'm going to start with, and again, this was room temperature, it wasn't in the refrigerator, which is really stupid because it always, I forget, it always kind of explodes when a little nitron ball releases if it's not refrigerated. Yeah, so next time I'll refrigerate it. Alright, I got some beef broth. This is the kind of generic kind that I use, but it's really good. It's unsalted. I want to put about half a box in here. 2 cups, you can eyeball it. It's about 1 1/2. About 2. Just want to get things starting to float. I don't think my oven's big enough for this. Alright, so I had pulled some carrots because, you know, kids wanted some carrot tops. So I just cut them up pretty small. And I'm going to dump them in there. Any of you remember your mom peeling carrots because she thought, you know, like that dirt on the outside was bad for you? No, I just wash my carrots. Alright? Nothing's going to kill you on the outside of the carrot. Alright. So what's the next step? I quartered up some very small red potatoes and I've kept them in this water bath so they didn't turn brown. and a little bit of water is not going to hurt anything. So this is that was a pound of carrots. This is a pound and a half of red potatoes. And I just like soaking them in water. Does a better job of getting the dirt off. Once again, dirt ain't gonna kill you. I should have used a bigger pot. And if you get a little water in there, guess what? It ain't gonna matter because you need some fluid in there. Because I'm gonna have to pour some more beef broth on here as soon as I get these in. And I put ice in the water. It actually keeps them nice and cold. And don't tell anybody, but I did put a little salt in there, so it helps kind of leach out the starchiness, and it's the only salt I put in it. So, whoa, no, okay. The rest of this goes in 4 cups. Good thing I got long arms. Alright, let's stir this up. Now what I need to do is get a lid on here and get all this stuff to just start cooking down a little bit. But I don't want the lid on because I don't want to lose the liquid. I just want everything else in here. And you can see, I mean, this is about soup consistency, so it's not quite stew. It'll get there, trust me. We got carrots that are going to have a little starch cooking out of them. And this is meant for a king, because I'm the king. Alright, lid on. And you notice that pot's gone? Yeah, so I gotta make that too, so that's a whole other thing. But anyway, so let me get a lid on this. When it starts to go blub 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 blub, you need to turn it down. The lid's gonna bring the temperature up faster, and we just need to get all this cooked. See you back at the next step. Basically, I want to give this a good 45 minutes before I check it, so I'll probably see you back in 45 minutes. Alright, I think this is more awesomer than I expected. It turned out really great. So the two things. The consistency is really, it's like thin gravy. It's perfect. I wasn't sure it was going to be, but after it's cooked for 45 minutes, the potatoes are starting to fall apart. Everything is just like really great. Oh man. This is, I did sneak some, okay, I have tried it, so I will tell you this is really good. It just has this like really velvety consistency. It's not all floury, you know, you've heard me say a million times. I hate when restaurants do that. Quick thickener, you know. No, there's nothing like thyme in the oven or around the stove or whatever. So, this is for this could be like for a dish to pass or whatever you want, but now I have this really dirty pan. Not too bad, nothing stuck to the bottom, but I want to package it up because how I want to heat it up is I'm going to heat it up in the oven. Okay, so the last half hour before we eat, it's going to go in the oven. So I need to get it out of here. I'm going to show you why. So if the consistency is too thin, which can happen, what you want to do is take a slotted spoon and get all the chunks out, and then we're going to make that beurre manie, you know, the equal parts butter and flour that you mush together room temperature, probably 3 tablespoons each, and slowly mix it into the liquid that will be left in the container. Get that nice and thick, and then add it on top, and trust me, it'll be fine because when it bakes. But I'm really confident that this is absolutely thick enough. It just happened to work out. I had my backup plan. I had my butter already sitting here at room temperature just in case. But for presentation and for suckers really hot. No, it's not. Yeah, whatever. So I just want to start getting all this stuff out of here. So you see, if you were making this for a party, you'd be all set. Just give them lots of Guinness. Yeah. So yeah, I love the velvety consistency of this. I just hope you see how lovely all the pieces came together. And I just had it simmer. You know, I kept checking on it. If it got a little too crazy, I'd take the lid off. And 45 minutes, and everything is just beautiful. I don't think there's anything I could have, would have done different. And it's so funny because the potatoes are just starting to fall apart. That's so important because we want to get that starch out of them. And we know they're cooked. And if the carrots still have a little bit of crunch to them, which they won't, that's fine. So just remember, the two things you want is you want tender beef, and you want the potatoes just really pretty soft. And you can just keep cooking it until it's the way you want it. Or I told you you want it. Just kidding. I always say everyone has their personal preferences, and who am I? And I love when someone says, oh, I like that, but I would do this different, or I've made it with this. And I'm like, either I'm like, oh, good idea, or no, that I do that too. You know, it's either way. Sometimes I'm just trying to come up with some slightly different version of how to do something. Is it going to fit? It's so funny. So that Guinness, that little bit of time, really made for a great stew. Usually I hate wasting Guinness, but it was well worth it. I don't drink a lot of beer, so I just like to keep it on hand. Never know. You're going to need to cook with it, someone stops by. Of course, you should have really crappy beer, that way they don't stay too long. Alright, I'm debating. Don't think I'm man enough to hold that pot. So I think I'm going to switch over to my spoon. Let me set this down. Oh Lord. Good to the last drop. I have to confess, I didn't think it was all going to fit. Shame on me, right? Doesn't it look beautiful? I mean, that's like a mud pack you put on your face to make you look younger. So, I've said this 100 times, maybe more, but is lots of times stews, your sauce, your like spaghetti sauce, your chilies really do so much better if you leave them the heck alone. Chill it down, get it in the fridge, and let all those flavors just come together. I'm telling you, this is great. So, what are some options if you like aren't sure what to do with it? And I still have like flour all over me. Some people would say, oh, you need to put a little rice in the bottom of the bowl to kind of make it more rib sticking. I don't think you have to, because there is 1.5 pounds of potatoes in here. But that's a tradition that some of the people I know do. You could, what the heck, just eat it as is, okay? I guarantee you're going to love it. The whole house smells so good because of this. And I think, you know, this is classic presentation from Corningware, right? I just think, you know, when you can throw something on the table, big old ladle in it, really impress your friends. I used to have all the soup bowls from Centura, and sadly they've all broken and gone away. Yeah, they're all gone. Yeah, that was like a family staple, but sorry, they're not. It's not Corelle. I have Corelle now, which probably is still outdated, but it's the original Corning Corelle. Okay. I just think that this is going to really impress everybody. I just can't stop going on because it is so good. Anyway, let me get back to the subject matter of thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Even if you kind of speed through it to hit the important parts, that's fine. But this is darn good. You're going to love it. Your family's going to love it. It's not overpowering. Nothing is overpowering. It's very, very subtle. Remember, the emergency is that if you think it's too thin to burn my knee, like I said, just take the solids out, leave as much liquid in the pan, whip in a little of the burn my knee, 3 tablespoons room temperature flour, mixed with a fork with 3 tablespoons of room temperature butter with 3 tablespoons of flour. Just fork it all around to get it all mushed up. Put it in the pot, stir it up, give it a minute, let it thicken. It'll thicken pretty quick, and throw it in. But that just has a beautiful, yeah, it's really beautiful. All right, anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I'll see you next time with another great video. Have a great day.